Everyone, and welcome. In this video, I'll show you how to build a simple voting contract on GenLayer. So how this contract will work is it will allow a chairperson to create proposals, register voters who can cast their votes for their preferred proposals. So let us get right to it. You can see I've already defined the necessary definitions. First line, I define the version of GenLayer that we are going to use. Second line imports GenLayer. Third line imports data classes because we are going to be working with custom models. So we need to import these data classes. Now we decorate. To define a data class, you first of all use the allow storage decorator. Then you use the data class decorator. Then the first class we are going to define is the voter class. Now for this first video, we are just going to make the necessary definitions. In the next video, we will create the read-only methods, and in the final video, we will make the write-only methods. So each voter has a weight. Now a weight is of type unsigned integer 256. The weight is just how much voting power you have. Then we have the voted. The voted is a Boolean variable that just says if this voter has voted. And finally, we have the vote, which is the ID of the proposal that we voted for. Now we are going to do the same thing to define the proposals. Now each proposal would have a name and a vote count. So the vote count just shows how many people voted for this proposal. Now we are going to go straight and define the contract voting. gl.contract. So this class inherits from the gl.contract class. I can see they've added suggestions, so that is very good. I just noticed that. So you define the chairperson first. So as I told you in this video, we're only defining the variables. In the next video, we'll start creating the read-only methods for these variables. So we have the chairperson, which will just be an address. Now this is the person in charge of defining the proposals and selecting who gets to vote. Next, we have the map of voters. So this keeps track of how many voters there are and the proposals they each voted for. So this will be of type address to our custom type voter. Next, we have the voter indices. So this helps us reverse look up the voters. This will help us create a function that will return how many voters there are. So this just gives an index to the key of address. Now we have the proposals tree map. So this will help us keep track of how many proposals and their IDs. Last but not the least, we have the voter count. So this is just an integer that represents how many voters there are, which again will help us loop through. And we have the proposal counts. So we have defined the necessary variables for this voting contract. Before this video ends, let me just quickly initialize this method to get rid of all this. Initialize this contract. We define the initialization function for this contract to get rid of all these errors. So we are going to initialize this, initialize with a single proposal name. Now, eventually, I will show you how to add a method to add more proposals, because obviously no voting goes with a single proposal. You need multiple proposals for voting to take place. So firstly, we define the chairperson. Now, the chairperson will be the person that deploys these contracts, which we will get from the message. Next, we just set the voter count as 0. And this does nothing, but just for reference sake. Now, we assign this first proposal to its index, which is 0. So that will be the first proposal. Let me just copy the name. So what this line does, it creates a new proposal and sets the vote count to 0. Sets the votes count to 0, and then it assigns it an index of this proposal count, which is 0, and then it sets it to the proposal. So it becomes proposal that we pass here, become the first proposal in this tree map with index 0. I don't know if I'm making sense. And last, we just increment the proposal count, waiting for the next proposal that we are going to make use of. So thank you. In the next video, we will go over the read-only methods